Hi there, welcome to the YouTube channel, and depending where you are in the world, Happy New Year, or I really hope you're enjoying your New Year's Eve party, because when this video goes up it will be the New Year in some parts of the world and still party time in other parts of the world. But hey, wherever you are, I hope you're enjoying it. Anyway, today's deck is this. Yeah, I'm back on the random thing and we got hit with this. Now, I kind of figured we couldn't just have one half of a partner pair, so I really had to do the other half as well. But we'll start with Ukkima Stalking Shadow. 1 blue and black for a 2/2 Whale Wolf. It's from the Ikoria commander sets, and it's partnered with Cazur Ruthless Stalker, which is this one over here, which I'll get to in a second. But Ukkima can't be blocked, and when Ukkima leaves the battlefield, it deals X damage to target player, and you gain X life, where X is its power. Okay, quite like that as a blue-black creature. Could have just played this on its own with unblockables, but hey, it's got a partner, so we might as well play the partner. And Cazur, the Ruthless Stalker, obviously partners with Ukkima. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Yeah, this is good pairing. I like this pairing. Black and blue gives us a lot of unblockables. Green gives us lots of ways of getting extra +1/+1 counters. So today's deck, bear both of these cards in mind as I talk about it, and this is what today's deck looks like. So, as normal, I will start with the land and the mana ramp. Blue, black and green lands everywhere. Darkslick Shores, Dreamroot, all the usual things. We are playing Field of the Dead. Yes, I'm not sure why, but yeah, there's enough different lands in here that we should be able to hit the 7 and get the zombies on the go at some stage. 4 forests, 4 islands, and I think we're playing 4 swamps as well, if memory serves correctly. All the Temple of Mystery, Temple of Malady are here just for a change. Opulent Palace, Undergrowth Stadium, and Zagothi Triome, alongside Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, Urbolg Tomb of Yagamoth, and Temple of the False God. That's really it. There's nothing really that fancy about it. I'd like it. Maybe more blue lands may be needed. But when I've played it out, I've had more than enough ways of dealing with it. So it's all been good so far. Artifact ramped. Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman. Jeweled Lotus is umming and ahhing about in this deck. I'm very tempted to take it out at the moment, to be honest. Purely because we've got Ukkima is 1 blue and black. The only one it can help cast is Cazur Ruthless Stalker if you want to do it on turn 1. I'm not convinced. At the moment, I'm not playing my usual Elixir of Immortality in the deck, and I am umming and ahhing about taking this out and playing Elixir of Immortality in its place. But you'll see me play this later on stream this week, so we'll see how it goes. Beyond that, Soul Talismans here, Arcane Signets here, Talisman of Curiosity, Dominance and Resilience. I didn't go too far down the road with that. And Commander Sphere down the bottom. That's it. I didn't go over the top. I tried something a little bit different. I'm trying to change my mana bases. I like playing the medallions, as you can see on the screen. I like doing other things. But I thought we'll have a try and we'll do something a little bit different with this today. So, how are we doing the rest of it? Well, we want to try and get our creatures through to get the +1/+1 counters on them. Either of our creatures through. We quite like this one because it deals the damage and you gain the life, so that's quite nice. But, +1/+1 counters when creatures deal combat damage sounds like a plan. So we went with a lot of unblockable creatures. Starting with Mistcloak Herald and Slitherblade and Triton Shore Stalker. Might as well have it there, and we are playing around with +1/+1 counters, and Hardened Scales makes perfect sense in here. To make some of our other creatures unblockable, Ether Tunnels here, which helps pump up our power a little bit. Methrain Soldier, I think I've said it right. It's a 1/1 that can't be blocked. A little bit expensive back in the day, but this is from Urza's Destiny, if memory serves correctly. Yeah. So yeah. Things weren't quite as costly as they are now back in the day. Sword Coast Sailor comes in. This is just a background for when we've got one of our wonderful commanders in play. And whenever this creature attacks, if no opponent has more life than that player, this creature can't be blocked this turn. So, yeah, gives you a way of getting all both your commanders through if need be. Dimir Infiltrator, the traditional can't be blocked creature from Dimir. It's 1/3 that you can transmute to find something else if you need to, but you can play it as a 1/3 unblockable. Simic Ascendancy helps us chuck around some +1/+1 counters, and hopefully if we've got 20 or more counters on it at some stage, we win the game that way. Nice little backup game win that way. And Lightning Greaves is also here to protect. Actually, I'll be honest, you could protect either one. The one I would probably be more inclined to put it on is Ukkima, because it gets bigger quickly. Or you want to protect, well no, actually thinking about it, you want to put it on Cazur. It's just the one you want to protect from, make sure you get all your +1/+1 counters. I'm an idiot, ignore that bit, put it on Cazur, the end. 3 drops. Loyal Drake, beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, you draw a card. Yep. Farborg Reverend has got Skulk, so this can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. So it can be blocked by anything that's a 1-man, one power creature, but anything else can't block it. So, Lord Subordinate means that you've got another creature with menace, which is hard, makes it hard to block. But at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, each opponent loses 3 life. Nice little, so like everyone gets lightning bolted. Mogus Marauder comes into play, hits the devotion trigger and gives everything Intimidate and Haste, which is really nice. Intimidate, if you don't remember, can't be blocked except by creatures that share a colour or artifact creatures. Does get round all Eldrazi. Eldrazi cannot block anything that's been intimidated, just bear that in mind. Unforgiven one, just another spirit with menace to get you around the hole. Makes it a little bit harder to block. When it attacks, you return a target creature card with mana value X or less from the graveyard, where X is the number of modified creatures you control. Modified creature, remember, +1/+1 counter modifies that creature. A lot of them, this gets you there. It's good. Untamed Hunger just gives a creature menace and a bit of a big pump, so makes it harder to block. Drana the Liberator I put in just to chuck around some more +1/+1 counters. Flying First Strike, hard to block in the air. Yeah, and he probably gets his own +1/+1 counters on it with the First Strike, so can't complain. Branching Evolution, I'm playing a +1/+1 counter deck. Had to be here, didn't it? Especially now it's cheap. Growing Rights gives us our 38th land that we may need, because you'll be flipping this quite often with this deck and quite easily. Cameo the Whispered Hopes, another one of giving us a +1/+1 counters and giving us the colour, bit of mana ramp we may need. Orchard Spirit can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. Easy way to get something through. Retreat to Cazur, landfall, +1/+1 counters or life gain if we need it. Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, +1/+1 counters on each creatures, or plant tokens to help us with the blockers. I'm really got it here for the +/-2 for the +1/+1 counters. Modified creatures are important to us, remember. From there, Tribute to the World Tree, because a lot of our cards have got power less than 3, so coming in with some +1/+1 counters is pretty useful. Akawali, the Seething Tower, comes in from the Lost Canvas of Ixalan. Guess we could probably descend a lot. If we do that, things are going to be really interesting very quickly. It's a 3/3 for 3 mana, which is doable in this deck quite happily. Hadana's Climb, we all know this one. It's another one that basically ends the game very quickly once you start doubling power and giving them flying. Shardless Agent for a little bit of fun with Cascade in the deck since we're blue and green. And Zimone and Dina. Still don't like the artwork on this one, but hey, it's the one I have. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, target opponent loses 2, you gain 2. You can sack another creature, draw a card, put a land in the battlefield. If you have 8 or more lands, repeat this process. Okay. Commander Sphere I've mentioned. And the last one down the bottom here, we have one piece of equipment that means something can't be blocked. Whisper Silk Cloak. Can't be blocked, and it has Shroud. Another one you can chuck on Cazur if you need to. It's fine. You can put the grease on one, the cloak on the other one. It's all good. Herald of the Secret Streams means once we get the +1/+1 counters on our creatures, they can't be blocked anyway, so you get to Alpha Strike a lot when this hits play. And Shakasima of the Thousand Faces can copy the Herald or can copy one of your commanders, and you get even more +1/+1 counters. It's all good. Wonder, Filth and Brawn you want to get in the graveyard as soon as possible. Wonder to give you flying, Filth to give everything Swamp Walk, kind of relevant at the moment with what I've seen on MTGO recently, and Brawn make everything have trample, which is lovely with your +1/+1 counters. Tributary Instructor, whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, you get to draw a card, and the mentor ability is very nice because it pumps up your creatures. Kaidel, Chosen of Krufix, is also here just to give you some more mana to play with if you need it. Loyal Guardian puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control at the beginning of combat on your step, so with Herald of the Streams in play, all your creatures are getting through unblocked. Bellowing Tangleworm gives all your green creatures Intimidate, so they can only be blocked by green creatures or artifact creatures. Again, not Eldrazi. Elder Gargaroth, beast token, life or card, depending on what you need. Sinian of Calamity is here just to give us a way of dealing with enchantments or artifacts that are upsetting us and annoying us. Eloise, Nephalid Sleuth, quite like the investigate side of things, quite like the surveil side of things, so all good. Got the colours for it, let's play her. Ikoria Shaddiq the Usurper has menace, so it becomes hard to block, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. Pretty good with some of our creatures, because a lot of them tend to have bigger toughness and power to start with, so yeah, makes sense to have this here. And Tazani Quadrix comes from Strixhaven, if you remember. So, flying, trample, enter the battlefield, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, and when it attacks, you may have the base power and toughness of the creatures you control become equal to Taza Quadric's power and toughness until the end of turn. Get some +1/+1 counters on here. Attack with this in the air as a 6/6. Everything else becomes a 6/6 before you add their +1/+1 counters on. If you've got Brawn or Filth or Wonder in the graveyard, it gives your opponents a real headache to deal with. Jace, Arcane Strategist, just another way of drawing that second card we need, which can be helped. At -7, we can make everything unblockable. Guile, I decided to go with the Elemental Incarnations. You'll see why. Guile's here, can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. That's great. Get through, get your damage in. Thank you very much. If a spell or ability you control would counter a spell, instead exile it. No, we're not really playing that. And when it's put in a graveyard from anywhere, we get to shuffle it back in. Dread's here as well, has Sphere, so it can't be blocked except by artifact creatures or black creatures. And whenever a creature deals damage to you, destroy it. The same thing applies when it goes to the graveyard, get it in your library again. And Vigor. We all know what Vigor does. +1/+1 counters all around. Thank you very much. Enjoy it. Have fun. The last one of the 6 drops, which I haven't mentioned, is Conclave Siege Captain. I'm enjoying Conclave Siege Captain, I have to say. Triple backup. Target 3 separate creatures, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. You get some big creatures very quickly with this. I'm loving playing it. It's good fun. Get one if you haven't got one already, especially on MTGO. Damia, Sage of Stone, also makes an appearance in this deck. Death Touch, we get to skip our draw. At the beginning of our upkeep, if you have fewer than 7 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. The only catch I will say with Damia, and I'm going to be honest about it, is you've got to make sure you've got the mana in play to play what you've got in your hand before you cast her. You may get 1 card, and if you haven't got enough lands, you haven't got enough mana available, you are going to be stuck until someone kills this off. They're not going to kill it off that often because it's got Death Touch unless they're about to die. So you may be stuck with it in your hand, but you're not being able to cast anything. Keep it in mind when you play her. Last few cards coming up. Last 3. Camel, Heart of Crozer, just so we can make sure we get the +3/+3 on trample, so we can win that way on some of our creatures that are unblockable. Majestic Genesis will get you the best of the top X, is going to be 4 with this for 8 mana, which isn't great, but you may put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield. So if you hit 4 permanents, you're pretty good. If you haven't, you're in trouble, but you've probably got rid past a load of junk you didn't need. And the final card, the Great Henge. Sorry. Why would you not play the Great Henge in this deck? +1/+1 counters. Yes, please. Thank you very much. We'll go with that. And that's it. Don't forget the card draw. That is my take on our 2 commanders for today. I think this pair is a more interesting partner pair than some of the other ones I've covered in the past. I quite like the idea of this, so it's going to be fun playing this out. I'll be playing it out on stream at some stage this week, so keep your eyes out. You know, if you follow me on the stream down below, you'll know when I go live. Anyone who does come and follow me gets access to their Discord channel, which I'm hoping to be more active in this year and get more things happening there. But for now, I'm hoping you've enjoyed the video. I'm hoping you're having a great New Year's Eve party if you're the other side of the pond to me, or if you're watching this after you've been to a New Year's Eve party. I hope you've remembered everything I've said and you're still liking the video and watching it. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, help me get the YouTube algorithm out. 311. Target for the end of 2024 will be 500, hopefully. Let's try and get there. Help me out and get there if you can. The subscribe button down the bottom here, probably over somewhere. Here somewhere, I'm guessing it's here. There you go, it's there somewhere. Hit the subscribe button down here, help me out. But that's it for now. Come back tomorrow. There's a deck that one of my mods asked me to build, and then we'll be back on. We've got a couple of the random commander decks for later in the week. So that's it for now. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.